everyone. I'm Sandy Peckinpah, and I am back. I haven't periscoped since before Christmas. And My Silly Life joined, A74MD joined. Thank you for joining me. I'm so glad you're here, and that's a picture of a catalog. I'm at my, Chris, thank you for joining me. Yay, I just saw you on Twitter. That's a picture of the catalog of my husband's, he sells dinnerware and glassware to the hotel restaurant industry, and so I'm at his office today. And let me turn this around. There we go. I know that I'm not sure that the lighting is all that great. Oh, thank you for inviting followers. Yay. My Silly Life, I met you on Bonnie's Challenge. Hi, Priscilla. So glad you're joining me. And Julie, wow, I'm surprised. I didn't expect this many people on New Year's Eve. So I'm actually in Tucson right now, and as I think a lot of you know, I am a dual state girl because I live in Southern California and my husband lives in Tucson, and we have to go back and forth. And we've only been married for 4 years and we're still trying to figure out how to live together. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and this is Tucson. And I'm right by some railroad tracks, so you may hear a little, railroad sounds and stuff, but it all adds to the ambiance of the whole thing. Thank you for the hearts. They're beautiful. Let's see, we have sort of amber colored hearts and green hearts and pink hearts, and yay. So thank you for joining me. Okay, so I have a couple things I want to talk to you about. I read a blog this morning on a blog that I read a lot, and if you don't belong to this blog, I highly recommend it. It's called Mark and Angel Hack Life. And Mark and Angel are husband and wife, and they write this daily blog, and I'm telling you, I get so much rich stuff from them. They are absolutely fabulous. And it's Mark spelled with a C, so it's M-A-R-C, and Angel, Hack, H-A-C-K, Life. And they were talking about, the blog that I got today, they were talking about being a sensitive person. I think she used to do a podcast. Oh, do you think? Maybe. A podcast, yes. Maybe. I don't know. That could be. So, anyway, they were talking about sensitive people, and boy, did that ring a bell with me. So I want to talk about that, and I also want to talk about my writing challenge, which is coming up on January 11th. So first of all, just a little bit of business to get through. Why do I give a writing challenge, and why am I qualified? So real quick, I'm an author. I've written 4 published books, several ebooks, and 2 of those published books have been award winners, and I'm very proud of them. One of them went all the way to the Grammy ballot in 2009, and the other book I've gotten, I'm so proud, 8 awards, and it was a book that I wrote as a legacy for my son that passed away sadly at 16. And I knew I had to write a book. I knew that other parents go through it. I knew that I was as unprepared as anybody when you have that experience in life, and yet somehow I made it through. I had a tremendous amount of support and friendship and lots of tools. And in the interim, I became a certified grief recovery specialist. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But my passion is writing, and why also one other qualification that I have for writing is that my husband was a screenwriter for 25 years. We had a beautiful creative marriage, and that marriage resulted in many television shows being on the air. One of them, my favorite, was Beauty and the Beast on CBS with Linda Hamilton and Ron Perlman, and there was Sliders, a sci-fi series that was on for many years. Only a bad... Julie's, you're funny. Referring to my Facebook post this morning. That's hilarious. My son for Christmas he gave me, or he made for my husband and my daughter and my other son, he made a tall candle with a picture on the front that had my head on the top of a saint's body. She was in full, beautiful robes, and it was hilarious. And I thought, well, that's great that he thinks that I'm a saint. And we laughed about it. And then I opened up some gifts for my daughter, and one of them being socks. And I don't even know if I can say this on Periscope, but I know that some people do. So my socks, oh gosh, I wish I could just put my foot up there, but I can't reach that far up. My socks say badass. That's what they say. So anyway, it's hilarious. Okay, let me see if I can show them. Okay, there they are. Badass socks. Aren't they hilarious? So my son thinks that I'm a saint, and my daughter thinks that I'm badass. And you know what? I'll take both of those. So anyway, thank you. That's hilarious. A badass saint, right? So as I was saying, my writing challenge, I'm so excited about it coming up. I was telling you some of the qualifications that I have as a writer and how proud I am to present things that I think you're going to be so surprised at these tools and tips, because I learned them through professionally writing and my husband's career as a professional television writer and movie writer. So, okay. The blog that I wanted to talk about was, I heard my whole life that I was too sensitive. That's what I heard. And thank you for the hearts, because being the sensitive person that I am, the hearts feel so good. And they're beautiful. They're all colors. Okay, so you, Julie felt the same way. And okay, Chris, everybody that says that, let's celebrate. Because we are celebrating our sensitivity from this day forward. The blog that I read this morning gave me many reasons to celebrate it, and not any reason to be ashamed of it. And that's what I felt my whole life. Because every time I felt something deeply, I would hear, oh, Sandra, you're being too sensitive. But you know what? That was the only way I knew to be. I had no other choice but to be sensitive. And so I realized that so much of my life had been around feelings of shame with my sensitivity, that maybe I was too sensitive, maybe I took that the wrong way, maybe I was crying at a commercial, because it moved me deeply, maybe that movie, and there are movies that to this day I think about them and I start crying when I think about them. One of them is Terms of Endearment, and the other is Sophie's Choice, and all I have to do is think about them and I well up. Well, these feelings are real, and in reading this blog today, I realized there's something called sensory processing. And sensory processing is a very real thing that 15 to 20% of the population, and that's you and me, because those of you who said you feel that way, 15 to 20% of the population feels this way, that they have this sensitivity. It's called sensory processing. And what I learned is that some very famous people have this too. And this research was done by, what is her name? Elaine Aron, Dr. Elaine Aron. She's a psychotherapist and a researcher on sensitivity. Hallelujah! That's what I wanted to know. Am I embarrassed? I've been so embarrassed my whole life about being too sensitive, and this gave me reason to understand it's something that's very real. And so she says that those sensory processors think more deeply, feel more deeply, are more deeply emotional than most people. And some of the famous people that are those sensory processors are Steve Jobs, Martin Luther King, Albert Einstein, Maya Angelou. I don't know about you, but I felt pretty good being in the company of those people. And so I started thinking, wow, maybe I have something to be proud of. And if you think that you might be one of these remarkable people, let's unite right now. Because there are so many reasons why it's an advantage to us. First of all, we have to stop thinking that there's something wrong with us. Because of the sensitivity, you're a better writer, you're a better poet, you're a better mom, you're a better therapist, you're a better salesperson, you're better at everything you do because your sensitivity can delineate right from wrong, feelings of sadness, feelings of emotion. You can pick right up. I can pick right up on my clients, whether they feel good or bad about what we're doing and how the direction we're headed. I know immediately because I'm so sensitive, and so are you. I know some of you out there do this for a living. You make it your living. Julie, in your line of work, you are like sensitivity personified. And so, because you can connect better. Cruise Animations, thank you for joining us. I'm wondering if you're one of those sensitive people. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about, have you been told your whole life that you're too sensitive? And just to recap real quickly for you that have just joined, is that sensitivity is something very, very real. Sensitive people have been researched, and that it is 15 to 20% of the population that are more sensitive than others. So sensitive people often suffer from the feeling like a fraud syndrome. Do any of you feel that way? Oh, I'm getting some hearts. There's some pink hearts. Yep. Okay. So feeling like a fraud syndrome, and I've discussed this many times on my broadcast, especially feeling that I wanted to put myself out there as an author many years ago. And it took me 4 full books. I even had a book nominated for a Grammy, and I still couldn't call myself an author. It wasn't until my 4th book that I got the awards on. Could I ever call myself an author? And now I can boldly say, you know what? I am an author. I've got books to be proud of, and I've got information to share about writing because I have been a professional writer my whole life. And it actually started with a journal when I was a little girl. And a journal is what we sensitive people can use to record our feelings. And so that's one of the tools that I want you to use in your sensitivity heightening, because I think we need to enhance this wonderful quality that we have, is to start writing down our feelings. And as writers, you know what? There's no better place to go for ideas than your journal. It's such a resource of things that you've already felt, things that you've already experienced and written out in a journal. It makes you a better writer. And so if you start seeking out your emotions and recording them in a journal, you're way ahead of the game when you start writing your book. And remember, I'm going to talk about the writing challenge at the end of this. So number 3 is to seek out sensitive people, because we're connected in our sensitivity, and we have a huge advantage in our sensitivity to being able to connect with other sensitive people, and there's nothing but good that comes with that. So you can show your friends that incredible sensitive quality. Julie says, someday my children can make a fortune off my old journals. Oh, I bet they could. You're so right. I have stacks and stacks of them in my closet, and I did a photograph of one stack of them for a blog that I wrote on journaling. And because I researched journaling for my book, How to Survive the Worst That Can Happen, my book that's a parent's step-by-step guide to healing after the loss of a child. And the journal was a huge part of that healing. Oh, and here you're going to hear the trains. Here they come. I don't know if you can hear them, but they might blow the horn in a minute. That's why I love this office building, because we get to hear trains. I don't know, there's something so magical about trains that I love. And I love falling asleep to the sound of a train. And I've had several train rides in my lifetime, the last one being going from Paris to Avignon. this last September, oh my gosh, there's nothing better. I'm afraid to write a book, need to wait till my family kicks off. You know what, I thought that too, actually. I had that. There is few things, and that I go over that in my writing coaching business with authors, is that there are some things that you have to weigh carefully. And does it make it a better story? I live a block from the tracks, always wanted to ride one. Do it, put it on your must-do list. As a sensitive person, you'll appreciate all the sounds and the smells and the people. And so anyway, okay, back to sensitivity. So with sensitive people, you also have to create healthy boundaries. And this is a huge thing. This is a huge thing that we sensitive people have, is creating boundaries. I mean, I even have boundary issues with my children, with everybody. And I have had to learn, and I didn't learn this really until my son died. And, you know, that was the most devastating time of my life, and yet I learned so much. And I am so grateful for the lessons, and I wish I could have him back every single day of my life. But I can't. And so what I get to take with me into the next part of my life are the lessons that I've learned. And that was the gift he left me with and his legacy. And I was able to fulfill his legacy in my book, in writing my book. And that's your job as a sensitive person, is to remember that your greatest legacy is the life you've lived. Yes, it was a tremendous gift. Thank you. The life you've lived is your legacy. Don't let it die inside of you. Write your book, write in your journals. Let those thoughts come out as a gift. And so stop smothering your sensitivity. Is that train? Oh, the train's going now. Stop smothering your sensitivity. Celebrate it. It's one of the greatest gifts that you have that 80% of the population doesn't have. You know, how lucky are we, and you and I are united in this broadcast together in our sensitive natures. So here's how to make use of your feelings and your sensitivity. You're the perfect person to write your memoir, because there's a return to memoirs of the normal, average type of person, not the huge celebrity or a football star or anything like that. There's a return to the normal person in memoirs. You know, look at Elizabeth Gilbert and Eat, Pray, Love. I was just thinking how cool this medium is to interact with people. Yes, because I love this. I love Periscope because it's an opportunity for me to really reach out and see you, but actually not see you. I can feel you and your comments, and we interact together. And it's more sensitive to me in many ways than hoping people read my blog. For instance, you know, I love writing my blog because I love writing, and I'm an author and I'm a writer and I love it. And sometimes I feel like I want to take one more step and just reach out and touch you. And Periscope gives me that opportunity to talk to people that I would have never met before. You know, there are some people on this broadcast that I only know through Twitter and Periscope, and I'm so grateful. And I swear, if I ever went to their city, I'm meeting them for coffee. And you know who you are, because you're my regular people that I love so much, and I'm forming new bonds right now with you. Yay! Okay, so people are waiting for your story, and maybe it's not been written yet. Come to Maine. I've always wanted to go to Maine during the turning of the leaves. There you go. Okay, I'll announce it when I go to Maine. I would love to. So people are waiting for your story because you have the ability to evoke emotion that 80% of the population can't, because you're a sensitive person. Doesn't that feel great? seriously. Lisa, thank you for joining me. We're getting close to the end of the broadcast, but I hope that you'll watch it in replay because we are sensitive people uniting. And, oh, great, this is very inspiring. I am so glad. And because I'm a sensitive person, that feels so good. And we need that. We need that validation sometimes a little bit more than most people because we've been told our whole life, oh, you're too sensitive. You know what? I'm not accepting that anymore. And so here's what I want to say. People are waiting for your story because you have the ability to evoke emotion that 80% of the population doesn't have, because 15 to 20% of the population are more sensitive. It's time you write your story. And because I'm a professional writer and author and have been doing this for probably my whole life, but 25 years, I'm starting a free 5-day writing challenge. I think being sensitive means you're more open. I do too. And you know what? I think you can trust sensitive people more. I really do. I feel like I have that instant knowing and liking and trusting people who are sensitive because I can connect with them. So that's a really good point. Thank you for sharing that. So will you join me on my writing challenge? You know, I'm so excited to share things that you don't know about necessarily, things that I learned in the television business working with my husband, things that I learned in writing, things that I learned in writing my story and helping parents survive the loss of a child, the feedback that I've gotten from my book. These are all things that I know as a professional writer that I want to share with you, and it's free. It's Periscope. It's a 5-day writing challenge. I have a stack of tools that I'm going to print out and give to you if you'll join me. And let's see, where are my cards here? Oh, here they are. And, okay, so you can go to this and sign up. It's bit.ly can't say it, /emerging writer, bit.ly /emerging writer. And that will sign you up. And you know what? I'm not a huge abuser of emails because I do have a list, and I probably mail to my list maybe once a month. But this is a challenge I want you to join me on. And you sign up there, and what happens is you'll get an email reminder before, 1 or 2 reminders, and then every day you'll get a reminder with the homework in it, the homework sheets. Now, I'm really excited because these are some of the sheets that you're going to be getting. And these are tools that I've used and my husband used in the writing business when we were writing for TV. And writing my book is on my goal list this year. Perfect! You're the perfect person to do this because these 5 days, I think you've been on before, haven't you? Mystioism. I think you have been on before. I recognize that name. But you will get 5 days of incentive and tools to use to organize your book. Now, writing is up to you. The hardest thing in the world for a writer is to sit down and write. And thank you for these beautiful hearts. They make me so happy. I think I have 68,000 hearts. I'm so grateful because when I started broadcasting on Periscope, I was thrilled to reach 1,000 hearts. And now look at this. I am so blessed. I'm so blessed that all of you have stuck with me on this Periscope, and I'm so blessed to be a sensitive person, and so are you. And I'm so grateful for all of the hearts and my people that show up Periscope after Periscope. And I'm so glad to be back because I took some time off after Christmas, and I might have to take a day or 2 off here and there, but back as quickly as possible on Monday. But I think actually I'm going to try and do Periscoping over the weekend too because I have a lot I want to share. So again, if you want to sign up for my free Writers Challenge, it's bit.ly /emerging writer. And you can actually also contact me on Facebook at Sandy Peckinpah, but also on Twitter in a direct message, and give me your email address and I can register you. But it's better you register yourself because of the spam laws. They'll send you a confirmation, and I don't break any spam laws. I follow all the rules. So yay! Oh, I'm so glad you're looking forward to it. Yay! Thank you for joining me today. And most of all, I wish you the most wonderful, sensitive, happy New Year ever, because you know what? You committing to being a sensitive person and writing your story, whether it's journaling or writing your memoir or sharing your blog. Thank you. Happy New Year to you. This is going to be your best year ever. I promise you, this is going to be your best year ever. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.